Let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1. I just want to lay my cards out here. I love NetherRealm. I love the games they make. I'm not a big fighting game guy. I'm a casual guy, but I've said this in many videos. NetherRealm kind of always keeps me coming back because I like the stories they put together. I think they get better and better at just making these crazy, bombastic single-player campaigns for their fighting games, and I was really looking forward to Mortal Kombat 1 for that specifically because I came off of Mortal Kombat 11 excited to see what would happen next. Now, I know not every Mortal Kombat fan absolutely loved some of the Mortal Kombat 11 stuff, but with the way that wrapped up, and I'll spoil Mortal Kombat 11, but I'm not going to spoil Mortal Kombat 1. Liu Kang becoming Fire God, I thought that was just cool and different. It felt fresh. So Mortal Kombat 1 kind of takes some of that and runs with it. And I went into playing this kind of like how I do with everyone. And I kind of hate to compare it to something maybe like a Call of Duty campaign. I always like to lay this out as well. Like, I'm not a Call of Duty bro shooter type guy or anything like that, but I love firing those games up, especially like after they release and like you get them on a discount or something like that, and just play through the single player campaign, because sometimes they make really good, fun single player games that are like dumb popcorn action flicks. They're not super long, but they are entertaining. There's a shit ton of budget crammed into them, and I play all the Call of Duty campaigns mostly for that, at least at some point or another. So that's now me with like NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat games. I mean, they're better. Just full disclosure, I like these types of things more, but Mortal Kombat 1 is a good, entertaining ride. It is like a blockbuster movie, but here, more than previously, it is a cool remix. It's a cool refresh. It's like a House of M. It's like a What If. It's taking your favorite comic book characters and remixing them and tossing them in a new scenario. I will say that some of it does retread familiar ground, and towards the end, it may lose some people, but for me, I had such a good time seeing characters show up and things happen. Characters show up in unexpected places, have tweaked origins, different alliances. I was just all about that for this ride, and that's where it's really well paced, is that characters keep showing up. They have cool arcs. They make Reptile awesome. Like, Reptile really gets his due here, and I think some people are going to be really happy with that. But I do want to point out, for me specifically with Mortal Kombat, I'm pretty sure my first Mortal Kombat was Mortal Kombat 2 back in the day, and it was just very much part of the culture at that point. Was I obsessed? Was I diehard? No, absolutely not. But I've pretty much played every single mainline one since, and I do know the characters. Am I obsessed with their lore and I want them a specific way? No, but I love a Reptile, I love a Scorpion, a Sub-Zero, a Quan Chi, whoever. Like, oh yeah, that's that guy. Oh, that's that guy. I love, like, it's like that. So for Mortal Kombat 1 here, I was down with the characters enough to get excited at how they're different, but not into them enough or really read into them enough to care that they change certain things. I think for the most part, and what I like about the characters, I think it's like respectful where they remix things or change things. Like, it's still a cool, interesting twist or celebration of a character. But this is a weird game because it's very, I don't want to say lighthearted, but it's a little more fantastical. A lot of it is bright, colorful, weird, and zany, but in a way that really worked for me. And now, this isn't like a spoiler or anything. This is like in Act 2. It's like right in the beginning. But there's a scene where Johnny Cage, he's in his mansion. He opens the front door, and at the door, standing in the doorway, is Fire God Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. Like, hello. And I was just like, this game is wild. This is so weird. It's kind of got an interesting thing where it's like Raiden in it is young, and he's almost kind of just like a regular protagonist. He's like a wholesome, young, handsome, do-gooder guy. And you like to see that. It's a really good setup for the start. And like the way they group the characters together, just, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I also really like Johnny Cage. I usually always like Johnny Cage, but Johnny Cage here specifically, I don't know what it was about him. Maybe it was his delivery, the way he kind of gave me like Will Arnett vibes. I know that's not for everybody, but like it really worked for me. But you get certain things. Like, obviously you don't get much of characters like Jax and Sonya. I think at this point they were like, we want to tell a new thing, and they've gotten a lot of love in the previous game, so I get that. But then you get cool little bits with Kung Lao. You get different villain origins. You get a lot of interesting stuff with Baraka and how that's handled. And it really just, like I said, it feels different enough where it's like if you've played the campaigns like from Mortal Kombat 9, like modern NetherRealm's big cinematic campaigns, this does feel different. Again, towards the end, here and there, but like it's mostly like a fun, different, fresh ride. And I just like the way they're paced. They're fun to play through, again, like I said, specifically because it's brilliant how they introduce you to the characters and like, oh, here's a scene where it makes sense why you'd start fighting as this character. Again, it's a bunch of cutscenes coming up with reasons for characters to punch each other, but like Injustice 2, it just does it in a really creative and breezy and well-paced way that it just makes sense, and it feels like you're playing and fighting through a natural story. So for that, and like their previous games, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I love these characters. They are like fun, cool action figure characters, and instead of mashing them together this way, now this time NetherRealm is mashing them together this way. Does that make sense? And yeah, like I could talk about the fighting and the combat. I did go in detail on that stuff in the Mortal Kombat Before You Buy on Game Ranks, where it's great. I think the game could use a couple of more modes, a couple more features, but otherwise it's good Mortal Kombat fun. I'm not very good at it, but it is fun to pick up and play. I like the way their fighting feels, even if it's a little stiffer if you're accustomed to something more modern like the newest Street Fighter. It's gory, it's zany. At this point, they know what they're doing. I still really wanted Injustice 3 before this. I could have waited longer for the next Mortal Kombat, but here we are, and it's cool. It's another game in a really, really stacked 2023, but I'm just saying at some point, you should probably consider getting to the campaign because it's really cool. NetherRealm is so interesting because it's like they understand cheesiness, they understand camp, but then they understand like gore and spookiness and mysticism and fantasy, and they just balance it in a way that you don't see other places do it. And I'll always tip my little hat to them. What is my hat? Is it a fedora? Ooh, I don't know. I'm rambling, but I just wanted to jump in and say a couple of words because it's not super long or anything like that, but worth playing. I know there's a bunch of other giant, massive open world RPGs and stuff like that right now. I'm still working on Cyberpunk to talk about soon, that expansion. So let me know what you think about Mortal Kombat in general. Let me know if you did breeze through this campaign. I'd love to know what you think. Spoiler free, keep it safe for some people, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about your favorite character, how they're represented. Did you think they did them dirty? Did you think they did them great? I've seen some people have some issues with Sub-Zero, and I get it. That will get lost in the weeds though, but like, let me know what you think about Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 11, if you played that, and with the whole Chronica and time thing. Let's talk about anything Mortal Kombat. I want to hear from you guys. There's some good conversation to be had here, but thank you for coming around, listening to me real quick, ramble about something I really enjoy. That's what I do here. I'm trying to just talk about stuff I love or stuff that at least interests me. So if you get that, clicking a like button helps me. Thank you for that, but also a big ups to the people on YouTube memberships and Patreon that have my back. I appreciate you, but that's it. I'm Jake Baldino. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe because video games, pizza's on me.